The economic impact on U.S.-Canada trade was swift and noticeable. Canada and the United States share deeply intertwined economies. The new tariffs disrupted these long-established economic links. In response, Canada implemented its own retaliatory tariffs on American goods. This added complexity and cost for companies, straining trade relations. The smooth flow of goods and services began to encounter significant friction. The tariffs targeted key sectors, with steel and aluminum imports facing substantial duties. These materials are crucial for various industries, meaning the tariffs had far-reaching effects. Consequently, consumers started to observe price increases on many everyday products. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S.-Canada border crossings have decreased by 17% since President Trump's tariffs were introduced. This reduction has profound implications for border communities. These towns rely on the easy exchange of people for tourism, shopping, and family connections. A drop of this magnitude disrupts daily life and economic activity. Canadian car trips to the U.S. were down by almost 32% in March 2025 compared to March 2024. This decline directly affects U.S. businesses, especially in retail, hospitality, and tourism sectors. Canadian customers represent a substantial portion of their revenue. The sharp decrease means lower sales, reduced profits, and potential job losses. The U.S. Travel Association estimates a 10% drop in Canadian tourism could cost the U.S. economy up to 14,000 jobs and $2.1 billion in revenue. These figures underscore the economic importance of Canadian visitors to the U.S. economy. Port Huron, Michigan, a small manufacturing town with a population of under 30,000, and its Canadian counterpart, Sarnia, Ontario, exemplify the deeply intertwined nature of border economies. These two cities, separated by the St. Clair River, have long shared more than just a geographical proximity. Their economic fortunes are closely linked. Residents frequently cross the Blue Water Bridge for work, shopping, leisure, and family visits, creating a vibrant cross-border ecosystem. Many businesses in Port Huron rely on Canadian customers, while Sarnia benefits from American visitors and cross-border industrial links. This symbiotic relationship has fostered a unique shared community spirit that is now being tested by the ongoing trade disputes and tariff implementations. The impact of the tariffs and the subsequent decline in Canadian visitors has been keenly felt by businesses in Port Huron. The economic data and statistics only tell part of the story. The true impact of the trade tensions is most vividly seen through the experiences of individuals working in these border communities. Christina Lampert, a waitress at Freighter's restaurant in Port Huron, Michigan, has shared her first-hand observations of the changing clientele. She noted the conspicuous absence of Canadian customers, who were once a regular and significant presence at the restaurant. For Miss Lampert and her colleagues, this means fewer tables to serve, reduced tips, and a general sense of unease about their job security. On the Canadian side, Tanya Lee, the manager of the Sarnia duty-free store, faces a deeply personal struggle. Her business is not just a job, it is a second-generation family enterprise. Miss Lee has spoken about the significant drop in business her store has endured, a direct consequence of the decreased border traffic. Beyond the direct economic impact of the tariffs, the rhetoric emanating from the Trump administration has also played a significant role in shaping the current climate at the U.S.-Canada border. President Trump's statements, including suggestions about Canada potentially becoming the 51st U.S. state, have caused considerable unease and have been widely reported in Canadian media. While such comments might be dismissed by some as mere political posturing, they have been perceived by many Canadians as disrespectful and indicative of a disregard for Canadian sovereignty. This type of rhetoric contributes to a sense of alienation and can negatively influence Canadian perceptions of the United States, their closest ally and neighbor. This aggressive rhetoric, when combined with the ongoing trade war, has significantly strained the relationship between the U.S. and Canada, moving beyond purely economic disagreements. The traditionally strong and amicable ties between the two nations have been put under considerable pressure. Local officials in border communities are on the front lines, witnessing firsthand the economic fallout from the tariffs and strained relations. Mayor Anita Ashford of Port Huron, Michigan, has been vocal in expressing her deep concerns about the adverse economic impact on her city. She has highlighted the growing frustration among both U.S. and Canadian residents who are directly affected by the downturn in cross-border activity. Mayor Ashford emphasizes that the livelihoods of many in her community are intrinsically linked to a healthy relationship with their Canadian neighbors. Her position allows her to see the daily struggles of businesses and residents, making her pleas for attention particularly urgent. Mayor Ashford is not just voicing concerns, she is actively calling for greater federal awareness and concrete action to address the challenges her community faces. She believes that policymakers in Washington need to understand the unique vulnerabilities of border towns and the disproportionate impact that national trade policies can have on these specific regions. Local leaders like Mayor Ashford are seeking support, whether in the form of economic aid, assistance for affected businesses, or, most importantly, a resolution to the trade disputes that are at the root of the problem. The trade tensions affecting U.S.-Canada border towns are not occurring in isolation, but are part of a broader, more complex global web of trade disputes initiated by the Trump administration. A significant component of this is the ongoing trade friction with China. For example, Chinese shipments of Apple's iPhones and other mobile devices to the United States reportedly fell to their lowest levels since 2011 in April 2025. Furthermore, overall smartphone exports from China to the U.S. plummeted by 72% to just under $700 million in that same month. These figures illustrate the substantial impact of tariffs and trade uncertainties on major global supply chains and technology sectors. The repercussions of these broader trade disputes are also evident in major U.S. ports. Shipments at the Port of Los Angeles, one of the nation's busiest, dropped by as much as 30% in early May 2025. This decline directly affects not only the port's operations, but also a wide range of associated industries, including labor, truckers, and warehouse workers. Such disruptions highlight how trade policies aimed at one country or sector can have cascading negative effects throughout the U.S. economy. The uncertainty generated by President Trump's tariff policies has elicited strong reactions from prominent figures in the financial world. In May 2025, J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon issued a stark warning about the potential long-term impact of these tariffs. He highlighted the growing risks of inflation as tariffs increase the cost of imported goods, and even stagflation, a damaging combination of stagnant economic growth and rising prices. Such pronouncements from influential business leaders underscore the serious concerns within the financial industry about the broader economic consequences of the ongoing trade disputes, extending far beyond the directly affected sectors or regions like the border towns. Echoing these sentiments, Citigroup's CEO Jane Fraser noted in May 2025 that many companies are choosing to delay significant investments due to the pervasive uncertainty surrounding tariff policies. When businesses are unsure about future trade rules, input costs, or market access, they become hesitant to commit capital to new projects, expansion, or hiring. This reluctance to invest can act as a drag on overall economic growth, limiting job creation and innovation. The ongoing trade disputes and the resulting economic pressures have cast a long shadow of uncertainty over the future of U.S.-Canada border businesses and communities.